We're back at it again with our friends at Toad Ranch, who in our opinion make the absolute best reptile and amphibian enclosures out there. This one is going to be really, really exciting. I'm sitting here right now with Marie, our Dumerils boa, because if you guys go back, the very first time we started working with Toad Ranch, we built the enclosure for her. Well, this one is our third enclosure because we did the Egyptian tortoise enclosure in between. And let me tell you, this is an epic build. The entire thing had to be brought by a special carrier service because it weighed, I think it was over 580 pounds altogether, and they really went the distance with this. Universal Rocks is involved. There's a stand with this one, and you can pretty much lay down in it because it's 6 feet long. So we're really excited to show you guys this build and of course reveal to you the amazing animals that are going to live inside it. So because we've been so busy right now with it being our active season, and because this is such a nice elaborate build, it's taken me a while to get it finished. My good friend Ken was up to give me a hand because this thing is such a beast, and you might notice these bags of substrate behind me right here because I've gotten to the point now where it's time to add the substrate in. So let me get you all up to speed on how this has been going. So this unit is 6 feet long, 3 feet high, and 2 feet deep. With the stand that they sent us with it, it's 4 feet 4 inches tall. So it's like a piece of furniture. It's really, really neat. We had to start by assembling the stand, and everything from Toad Ranch is so easy to assemble. They just, and with the instructions that they send you the screws, everything. It's really a piece of cake. This took 2 people to assemble because of the size of it. Once we had the stand all done and assembled, we went ahead and started assembling the main enclosure. Basically, it's self-explanatory. You know, you're just putting on sides, a base, a top, and then eventually a front. But this enclosure was different because this time around we had Universal Rocks involved, and they gave us a custom background to attach to the back of the enclosure. So Universal Rocks is awesome because they custom build these artificial, sturdy, lightweight rocks for reptile enclosures, and they look amazing. They look real, and they simply attach to the backgrounds or sides of the enclosure with glue or silicone. And if you guys want any information on Universal Rocks and their products, make sure you click the link in the description, and we're also going to leave a link below here so you can see where to go so you can read up all about the amazing things that they do. So we just went ahead and we attached this awesome background to the back of the enclosure by using extra PVC strips that Toad Ranch sent us. On the back of them there was adhesive, so all we did was just peel the tape off, and then we strategically placed them along the back. You could see that we put 1 on each side and 2 along the bottom. We didn't want to put 1 at the top because we got to make sure that the wiring for the lighting can pass through the back of the enclosure. So we just simply placed the enclosure on its back, put those pieces of extra PVC on with the adhesive, and then we laid the backdrop down on top of that and simply screwed it in all along the edges. Now, yes, right now you can see the screw heads in the backdrop, but they're all along the sides and bottom, which is going to be disguised later on in this video. You'll see. Another amazing thing about Universal Rocks backgrounds is that the animals can actually use them. They can climb up onto them if they climb, they can go underneath them if they dig, they can wedge themselves in between them, and they can, of course, fully bask on them. So that's a major plus. This is basically kind of a live background. It's really there. The animals can actually utilize it. So next up was the nest box. Toad Ranch sent us I think it's called a baskin nest. Go to their website, and you can find this stuff all on your own, and it's just amazing state-of-the-art stuff. Well, this nest box is perfect for the species that is going in this enclosure because the females are going to be able to easily get in. So you can see right here, all we did was assemble this PVC rectangle, and then they gave us nice slate pieces, basically like tile, that perfectly fit along the top. Now the third piece gets pushed back up to kind of overlap a little bit, and you'll see what I mean later. And that's so that the animals can actually go down in there and feel completely secure, and they can nest inside it. Really awesome stuff. And you know, when it comes to reptiles of any kind and trying to get them to properly nest and lay their eggs in an indoor enclosure, sometimes it's a nightmare because you can't get the substrate to be deep enough 9 times out of 10 unless it's a bioactive substrate, yada yada. But this is great because this is a specifically designed nest box so that these animals can safely, accurately, and securely lay their eggs in it. Something you guys might not already know about Toad Ranch is that Jared and Denny actually breed reptiles. So they know what they're doing. They know how to design these things and how to make sure you have all the missing links, which don't normally come with a reptile enclosure. This is one of our leopard geckos, and no, it's not the species that's going to be going in this enclosure, but I just thought we could hang out with her for a little bit here. So, Toad Ranch and Universal Rocks threw in some extra pieces that weren't part of the backdrop. So what I did was, I took DAP 230, recommended by Jared to use, and I went ahead and disguised the nest box by gluing these extra pieces to it, and also to the sides and along the bottom to hide those screws that I was telling you guys about before. You're going to want to let that stuff dry for a while, at least a couple days. Make sure it's really secure, and you can hold it in place with some screws and then back them out later, and you won't really notice any kind of hole there. You want everything to be really secure, regardless of the species that you're going to be housing in here, and believe me, the ones that are going in this are highly intelligent, so we need to make sure that everything is as is and can't be moved by them. So at the risk of sounding like a broken record, we have to talk about lighting real quick. Lighting is crucial for most reptiles, and the animals going in this are no exception. So we need heat, we need light, we need UVA, we need UVB. Starting with right here, the projector. The Deep Heat Projector by Arcadia, as well as the UVB kit, 12% kit that Arcadia offers. Toad Ranch sent us all this stuff to make sure that the critters going in here are going to be fully taken care of at all times. Now you'll notice at the top of this enclosure, there are 3 fixtures for like spotlights. Because our nature room is so hot, it's 86 degrees right now here, that's the ambient, that's why I'm so glistened in this video. I'm only using 2. One is just a simple LED light for some nice white bright daylight, and then the other is the Deep Heat Projector, because these are state-of-the-art. These really get a reptile nice and warm, like it's full body, not just one little area on its back. In combination with all this, of course, there is the heat pad that is on the bottom of the nesting area. And then the Arcadia 12% UVB is running across almost the entire thing, so that the animals always have some strong UVB, but they're far enough away from it to where it's not damaging to their eyes or their skin in any way. So that is the lighting. That is nice and full spectrum, and it's good to go. I think it looks pretty nice. You guys know that we're big on trying to make things look realistic and natural for the animals, and of course aesthetically pleasing. This is our nature room, and even if you do this in your home or your reptile building, you want it to look as nice as possible and interesting for the animals. So we love to use fake plants from places like Hobby Lobby and Michaels. They'll put them on sale for like 50% off or buy one get one, and they have all different kinds of realistic looking plants that work beautiful for a wide variety of animals. So we went ahead and we just picked out some simple grasses, because this particular habitat is one from Australia, so we didn't want to do anything really tropical looking or anything. This is kind of an arid landscape, which is why we have the Universal Rock background. So I simply went to Hobby Lobby, bought a ton of these grasses, and then I just screwed them in to hold them in place, not all the way so it doesn't go through the enclosure, and then I used the same DAP 230 to go ahead and cure it. And then once it was dry, it was time to add the substrate. Okay, time for substrate, time to get messy. We're gonna go 3 different parts here. We're gonna use raised bed mix. It's organic raised bed soil. We're gonna use the Zoo Med excavator clay, because it's gonna firm things up a little bit and allow the animals to construct burrows. And then we're also just gonna use regular old play sand. We're gonna make a nice kind of deserty mix here, but in the nest box, I'm gonna go heavier on the raised bed mix, because that is where the eggs are gonna go for the nesting females of this species, and it doesn't matter what reptile you're dealing with, they like more of an area with more moisture when they're going to nest. So it should work out. Okay, so we're on the final night, final day of completing this enclosure. I am going to mix a little bit more substrate here and add in the excavator clay, but I wanted to show you guys before I did that, I added some more rocks and a little bit of driftwood back here. These are actual real rocks, and they're meant to anchor things a little more and also add climbing and stepping areas, but a lot of this is going to get covered by the final layer of substrate and kind of start blending things in. We also have to put the substrate in the nesting box. Okay, so this is the final piece to the substrate. This is Zoo Med's excavator clay, and it's clay burrowing substrate. If you didn't see our Toad Ranch Egyptian tortoise video, which if you'd like to, you can click the link above me. This is what we used in that enclosure for that species of animal, which is also going to come in handy here. And that is because in this enclosure in particular, the animals going in here burrow, and this stuff helps firm up the substrate, especially when you wet it down or there's some moisture involved, and it allows the animals to create tunnels or burrows, and it also helps really tie everything in, and it kind of sculpts up, and you know, it's just kind of makes everything cohesive. And also I love the color. It's a little bit closer to this, but a little bit more of a red, and that will help mimic the wilds of where this animal or animals come from. I've finished the main substrate now, but what I'm doing is I'm just kind of tossing a little bit of it up into the backdrop on the universal rocks and stuff, just to kind of try to tie everything in. You know, nothing would be that perfect in nature. So let's just throw stuff. Time for the nest box. I'm not going to put any of the excavator burrowing clay in there because I want this to be a little bit more humid and looser for the females of this reptile to be able to easily lay their eggs. So I'm going to go heavy on the raised bed mix and add some sand to it, and that should be good. But what's nice is if I notice that they're ever having a problem, I can always change things up a little bit because everything is contained right here in this wonderful nesting box. Alright, one of my favorite things about putting reptile and amphibian enclosures together, whether it's indoors or out, is adding wood. Driftwood, hollowed out logs, or just pieces like this that are good and sturdy. Get these from our work sites. So, let's have fun here. Last but not least, a water dish. Even for our animals, everybody needs to have water, so we're always going to make sure that these guys and gals just have a little bit to drink if they feel the need to have it. Straight from the land down under, but not really because these were born in captivity, are the inhabitants of this brand new Toad Ranch enclosure. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the spiny tail monitor, also known as Acke's dwarf monitor, the Acke monitor, or the dwarf spiny tail monitor. You can see they are a monitor lizard. They belong to the famous genus Varanus. The scientific name of them is Varanus acantharus, and they are fully grown at between 24 or 27 inches, and they say in the wild that they can get bigger at beyond 30 inches. This is the yellow variant of Acke's dwarf monitor. There's also the red, which both are common in the pet trade. And these are absolutely incredible lizards. As many of you may know, monitor lizards are some of the most intelligent reptiles on the planet. Just don't tell that to Otis because he'd probably disagree. And the biggest issue with them is most of them get absolutely massive, so they're hard for people to house properly. Well, you are looking at basically an adult male Ackie monitor. Our females are just a little bit smaller than him, and a pair of them are a reproductive pair. The other female is up and coming. You're going to get to meet the girls in just a couple of minutes, so you can see just how small these lizards are. So they are going to have plenty of room in this massive brand new enclosure, all thanks to Toad Ranch. And we're going to go get ready as a family here to release them into their new habitat, right? What's his name? You named him. Do you remember? What's his name? What? Coconut. This is Coconut, the male Ackie monitor. So let's get him in there. We'll talk a little bit more about them and let you guys meet the ladies. All right, get him, Mommy. Ready?
Ready.
Okay, go put Coconut in his new home.
Wow.
Good job, Cease. So these are our females. And what did you name this one?
Sunny.
Yeah, and we named this one Amber?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sunny is an adult reproductive female. Amber's got a little bit more time to go, but the three of them have been living together already, so we haven't had any issues there, and they've been like that for a long time. Female Ackie monitors can lay upwards of 18 eggs in a single clutch, and eggs can take somewhere between, I think it's 3 and 4 or 5 months to hatch. Their lifespan can be upwards of 15 to 20 years. I actually know someone who has had, I think it's a female, for 21 years now. They're an arid-dwelling species native to the wonderful Australia, and you can see that that is what their new home basically looks like. They love rocks, they like to hide in rock crevices, and it is said that they are an ambush predator. They kind of hang out in their hides waiting for prey to come along. You see them flicking their tongues like a snake?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that cool? They're mainly insect eaters. They'll eat things like grasshoppers in the wild, among other insects. Here we feed them dubia roaches and crickets. They also get occasional frozen thawed pinky mice, among some other things. They have very distinct markings. You can see those beautiful rosettes on their back and sometimes striping. And the striping, the longitudinal striping on the neck, does help separate them from some other similar monitor species. So they're just a really awesome, compact, much easier to house species than some of the bigger monitors are. So we want to make sure that our little family of Ackies here are always happy, right? Yeah. So what do you say? I think we've taught people a little bit about these amazing lizards, and I think we should go put the girls with their boy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Ready to put Sunny in? All right, here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Go ahead, help her in. There you go. There you go. Good job, Cece. Good, sweetheart. Okay.
Give me
All right, watch out. Let's let...
me.
All right, you gotta calm down. All right, watch out. Let's let Ellie do this now. All right, Ellie, come over here. Okay, come over here. Okay. 2 hands. I'm gonna help you, okay? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Good job, Ellie. Here goes Amber. Let's close this up. Watch your fingers.
Oh, watch your fingers.
So there you have it. Our little Ackie monitors are in their brand new home. It's gonna take them a little while to get adjusted to it. Right now they're a little freaked out. Totally normal when reptiles are moved to unfamiliar environments. And just a massive, unbelievable thank you to the incredible Toad Ranch. Jared and Denny Lynn, what you guys have done for us is just over the top. It's stuff we just could have never imagined would come to fruition. And thank you for making our reptiles look and just feel more amazing than they already are. This enclosure and any of the other enclosures that we've done with Toad Ranch can of course be used for tortoises as well, and a wide variety of other reptiles. You guys can reference our other videos, both the Dumeril's boa and the Egyptian tortoise enclosures, for ideas and also specifics behind the product. But don't hesitate to go to Toad Ranch's website to shop around, just be curious, contact them. They're amazing people that will answer all of your questions. And in fact, if you're looking to do something for your Ackie monitors, they actually have an enclosure called Ackie Can You Dig It? It's a little bit different than this one. Ours is a little bit more custom, but it is perfectly suitable to keep your Ackies comfortable and healthy. So we look forward to enjoying this enclosure and watching the animals just be monitor lizards inside it for years to come. It's a wonderful addition to our nature room. And again, I know I've said it a bunch of times, but thank you, Jared and Denny Lynn. This has just been an unbelievable, unbelievable journey with you guys so far.